Hey guys, I'm out here today sitting on top of this wall of soil that we've built. Lowe's was having a sale on Miracle-Gro garden soil, and so I decided to take advantage of that. In fact, I decided to buy 200 bags. Now, originally, I wasn't going to bring in any soil into the garden this year, compost or otherwise, but as Nate's been working on the irrigation, he mentioned to me, hey, look, the soil in the beds looks like it's kind of dropped over time, and that's typical. So he said, if you're going to add anything, let's go ahead and do it sooner than later so that when he gets the drip line in, he's not having to fuss with taking it out again so that I can add soil in to raise those levels up. So that's why we decided to go ahead and buy some soil. So the reason I decided to go this route with this particular soil was because I'm very hesitant to bring in anything that may be contaminated with persistent herbicide. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know that when I brought in all of this soil to fill my raised beds as well as the in-ground garden, it was contaminated with a persistent herbicide, and those herbicides stick around for 1 to 3 years. So I'm still facing issues with that this year, so I don't want to bring in anything that's going to compound that problem and make it worse for us. So one reason that I decided to go with this garden soil is because, one, it's not compost based, so I'm kind of hoping that that gives me a bit of a guarantee that I won't get herbicide in it. Also, it was on sale. It was available quickly, and because it's not compost based, I'm not adding any more organic matter to my soil, which normally would be a great thing, but I have very high organic matter in this soil to begin with since I added so much compost last year that I don't want to increase that percentage anymore and damage my plants. So I felt like this was a safe bet. Now let's talk about Miracle-Gro. Is there controversy with Miracle-Gro? There definitely is. There's people that love it and there's people that hate it. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First, they don't like the association that Miracle-Gro has with certain companies like Roundup. People don't like the fact that this is a synthetic fertilizer as opposed to a natural fertilizer like your blood meal, bone meal, that type of thing. And they also don't like that this does not necessarily build your soil because you're not adding in that organic matter. You're not actually helping to build and improve your soil over time with this type of a product. But what I really wanted to discuss with you today was doing the best that you can considering the time that we have. So is there controversy about this? Absolutely. But is it the best that I can do right now given the time that I have? Absolutely. It's not my first choice. It's not my second choice. It's probably not even my third choice. But this is what I could get this year, and so that's what I went with. And so I want to talk to you guys about just doing the best that you can with what you have. With everything that's going on in the world, I'm afraid that time is becoming very short. We don't have that luxury of waiting for everything to be perfect before we get done what we need to get done. And so that's what you see here with this soil. Another thing that I have here that is not the best, but it works, is my fence around this whole garden is zip tied to these T-posts. Is that ideal? No, it's not ideal, but it works. And it's worked since last season, and it's gonna work again this season. I have heavy deer pressure, so I have that zip tied, and then I have a line of hot wire at the very top that I electrify. But I'm not gonna go spend $10,000 to put in a beautiful garden fence that I would absolutely love to have, but right now that's just not the smartest thing for me to do. It's not perfect, but it works. It serves the purpose. Another thing here is we don't have a barn. So where do I store my hay? Where do we put all of our equipment? We're putting it in the garage because that works. We also store things in a structure that we had built for our goats. We decided that it was a little bit too big and a little bit too cumbersome to move when we rotated them on our pasture. So we kind of threw that up at the side of the property and we store some stuff in there. It's not perfect, but it works. Another thing that we end up getting by with is our old pickup truck. We have an old 1500 GMC pickup truck. Now, we could really use a 2500 to haul our livestock feed and other things that we're bringing onto the property, but that works for now. I can't go spend $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 on a new truck, even though we really need it, because it's just not the time for that. Right now is the time to be focusing on growing your food, getting things in place on your homestead, whether that be chickens, pigs, goats, infrastructure. fencing, water, whatever it is that you need on your homestead to keep you self-sufficient in case everything else came crashing down, that is really what you need to focus on. Don't worry about making everything perfect. It's never going to be perfect. And if you wait until the point that everything is perfect, it's going to be too late and you will be wishing that you had done something sooner. Another thing that I've struggled with is trying to do things on the homestead before I know everything about it. So we have 2 Nubian dolings, and they were babies when we bought them, and I wanted to find out everything about them. How should I fence them? What kind of housing? What kind of minerals? Baking soda? What kind of hay is the best? What can they eat? What can they not eat? And that is valuable information to have, but as long as you have the basics, you really do not need to go super into depth on a lot of this stuff. Remember, people have been raising animals for centuries, and they didn't always necessarily have all of the information that we have at our fingertips today. You know, there's Bermuda hay, there's coastal hay, there's all kinds of really expensive legume hay that you can buy. Do you need to know all that? No, you really don't. You can just go down, buy whatever hay you have available to you, get that onto your property to feed your animals, and just go from there. Now, if we were in a different situation in the world, I would say, yeah, definitely take that time, you know, investigate what you need to figure out, learn, discover, figure out what's going to be the best for you. But in our situation, we just don't have that time. So our goats are about to kid in less than 4 weeks. And at one point I thought maybe they're not bred, and I was kind of a little excited about that because I'm a bit intimidated to have them kid here because this will be my first time. But they are in fact pregnant. They have some really good udder development right now going on, so I'm afraid that there's no turning back at this point. Well, I'm trying to make the decision. Do I pull the baby off of the mama as soon as they're born and bottle feed them to make a more docile kid? Do I leave them with the mama to help take some weight off of me so that I can focus on in the garden? Although it's not my first choice, I think I may just let the mamas raise the babies because I just don't have the time right now. I really am focusing really intently on feeding my family, bringing in as much production as we can. And so once those babies grow a little bit, I'll go ahead and sell those off, and then I'll still have the mamas in milk, and at that point I will start to milk the mom, but I won't have to take the time to bottle feed the babies each day, which I think will be helpful. So anyways, I'm not doing everything perfect here. No one's doing anything perfect. No matter what you see on videos or blogs or whatever, nothing is picture perfect. It's really not, I promise you. So just do what you can do with what you have. Focus your resources on the most important things, the things that are most important to you, your family, your homestead. Water, food, supplies, medicines, those types of things, guys. If you have any additional advice, anything you want to share, put it in the comments below because we really all need to be learning from each other right now. Time is short. Things are getting bad quickly, and we need to be sharing as much as we can so that as many people can be prepared as possible. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today, and I hope you found this information useful. Just do the best you can, guys, and I promise you'll be successful.